My name is Satchel Lee, and these are my parents, Spike Lee and Tonya Lewis Lee.
Spike, Tonya, Satchel.
You know, how do you define yourself as an artist?
I'm a photographer. I'm a portrait photographer, but I think I'm really interested in constructed kind of like staged realities. So I like portraits that are like rooted in a type of like performance for camera. I'm really excited by the idea of like that, you know, somebody would show up and like agree with a photographer to have their picture taken in a space, you know, as a chance to be a different person or a different part of themselves.
Do you think that having been a film student and sort of come up in a family that is film oriented, do you think that has influenced the way you think about photography?
I think I probably am heavily influenced by filmmaking. There's a cinematic element to it, so I think that's definitely the case.
It's already exciting to see what you're doing, but I think that you are so incredibly creative. I can't wait to see where it all goes, because it can go in so many different directions.
With so many talents, do you have trouble deciding what art you're going to do? Is what right now is just, you say that photography is like the bedrock, everything comes out of that.
Yeah, I think so. But also I think it's an interesting time as a photographer because we look at photos all the time, like on your phone, on Instagram. Everybody has a phone in their pocket all the time, and everybody's taking pictures. We're just inundated with images, and I am interested in how images can function in a way maybe that's different than that. And can we like go somewhere and like spend time looking at a photo that's big and not like this big, because that's like what we're used to. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your inspiration and where you, when you were first starting out as a filmmaker, where you got your inspiration from?
Thinking about being a filmmaker didn't happen till junior year at Morris College, Atlanta, Georgia. When I was a kid, I thought I was going to play second base for New York Mets, but genetics conspired against that happening. But growing up, I was just sports. That's all I really cared about. Followed all the teams, went to games, and that really came from my father. Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium, Madison Square Garden. We'd go to games, and I got older. Me and my friends in high school would go. We had the SGO card, and we'd sit in the last row at Madison Square Garden and watch the Knicks. So I didn't know what I was going to do. But being the son of a great jazz musician, my father, Bill Lee, we always had music in the house. So the influence of being the son of Bill Lee has been in my films because, the music has been on point. Many times the music's better than the film early on. So my mother died just in my sophomore year, and I had like I was a D- student, and I chose mass communication as a major. Film, television, radio, and print journalism. Crazy summer in 1977 in New York City, the blackout, all that stuff. One of my friends, named is Vieta Johnson, gave me a Super 8 camera film that her father gave her. And she just gave it to me. So that summer of 77, I was running around shooting all that crazy stuff that happened in 77. And years later, I make a movie about that Summer of Sam. And with that Super 8 camera, I just started filming everything and came back to school my junior year, showed my professor all this raw footage, and he said, why don't you make a documentary? It's called Last Hustle in Brooklyn. And after that, I was on a mission. I had to do to be a filmmaker. So that's it in a nutshell.
I would say for me, I think my inspiration comes from, being a little girl who was one of a few black students in a school who got really bullied at a very young age. And I'm coming to this, understanding this now, later.
Where was this?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was clearly a racist bullying that happened to me. Years later, when I'm middle grade, I watch Eyes on the Prize. I see this documentary that showed these incredible civil rights leaders fighting for rights of people. Sort of sparked in me this idea of social justice. And I think that it's like I'm fighting for this little girl who was bullied, because I don't want other people to have to go through that. And then understanding the power of art, the power of film, television, books to move hearts and minds and change hearts and minds. And again, show the humanity of who we are is what really inspires me. So I think that those early years of seeing what film and what incredible people who really care about the rights of others can do has inspired all of my work as an artist. And so what about you? What inspires you, Satchel?
I think I have a lot of inspiration from the artists that I was exposed to as a child. I think, James Van Der Zee, and I think about Carrie Mae Weems, and I grew up in a house with a lot of artwork, so I think that was always around me.
You mean the Louvre? The Lee Louvre?
Yes.
Look at that. Basquiat right there.
We have
Look
that
at
at
Avedon. Come on. Avedon.
Someone just recently asked me, how old, were your children when you first took them to theater? And I was like, I think Satchel was like 3 or 4. And we went to see The Lion King. And I had never seen anything like The Lion King before. I mean, shout out to Julie Taymor on that. I had never seen.
Was that open at night?
Yeah, it might have been.
Open at night.
And when those amazing puppets came out on stage, Satchel's little face, she was like, oh! And she sat like that the entire show.
Yeah.
At Satchel's very first birthday party, we had the Crotations, these amazing puppets,
Black
puppet
Crows.
masters.
Black Crows.
Oh my God, and they did, and again, Satchel sitting there just in awe, soaking it all up.
I just find it really exciting that you would walk into a space and be somewhere else completely. To be outside of the regular quotidian is really what I love.
I know this references pop culture and all of that, but I don't think we can leave Beyonce out of it. I mean, you've grown up with Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce's grown and evolved as you've grown and evolved,
Yeah.
and she is an artist of excellence. And I know you've watched her.
Yeah.
Give it up for Beyonce.
It's she is an artist of excellence.
What I appreciate about Beyonce is, like you said, right, to see the growth of an artist over a lifetime. Beyonce knows music, across genres.
Yeah.
She knows music. Similarly to you, they don't realize that you're a student of the craft.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, what? He makes a movie, so what? I'm like,
He is a cinematic scholar. He's
Yeah.
a film scholar.
Right.
People do not understand
same thing
that.
with Beyonce.
That means that she listens to it too. There's a big difference.
She listens to listens and studies various genres of music.
And you could hear that from her first album, and you hear the samples she's using. People don't even realize they're samples. Right. But she has a very vast, deep, music knowledge.
And a standard of excellence. How do you think about portraying yourself in your art?
So I think I started taking self-portraits, to just, on my birthday, just to kind of have these images to look back on. I like taking self-portraits, again, thinking about process, it's slower. I'm by myself.
Talk about the picture that's up for auction. Talk about that one.
It's from a series called the Expression Series, and I get my hair braided a lot, and so I just had all of this extra braiding hair, and I kind of draped it all over me and it's in this kind of pile. I'm thinking about a few things, right? Like I think when you take your hair out and you kind of end up in this like pile of just hair and all, you know, the buildup, whatever that's in front of you. And I think a lot about the environment with this work, like the hair that you use is made out of plastic. It's like not good for you. It's like leaches chemicals into your scalp. It's like some people are allergic to it. It's like not good for you. But I really like getting my hair braided.
That's the dilemma, huh?
Yeah, and it sits in landfills, you know, and it doesn't go anywhere. But it's nice to have my hair braided, you know.
How long does that take? 8 hours?
It's like 6 hours,
Woo!
right? But I just to think about, like, sometimes I don't want to straighten my hair. Like, sometimes I just want my hair to be braided and nice and neat and feel like I'm not trying to conform or abide by, like, a European standard.
How many pictures were in the series?
There's 6.
6?
But self-portraiture is cool because there are many different ways that you can play with identity in that way, right? So like, yes, this is me in the photo, but you know, how is this me as I am? Am I trying on something different? Am I playing around with what could be, what has been? You know, I think it's easy to work with myself because I'm already here.
And I think for me in my work, I think it's not literal, right? It is about experiencing the world and then figuring out how to put that experience, whether it's in a book, a children's book, or a novel,
Right,
or a film narrative or a documentary. It's about what I am seeing in the world. I mean, I think back to the children's book, Please Baby Please. That was, and we talk about inspiration, but that was really because I was watching you and your brother experience yourselves as Black children in a predominantly white world. I remember you going, oh, I'm watching Rugrats and they're gray. And looking at your skin going, I'm gray. And I was like, okay, maybe. And looking at the children's books at the time that were out, some really great ones, but not enough. And thinking,
Not enough.
thinking like, you know, somebody should write a book that, you know, more books. Maybe I should, you know, create something that features kids that look like mine for my children, for other Black children, and all children, because ultimately we all need to see more images of Black children just the day in the life of. So it's not kind of figuring out where do I fit in this world. And I think it's about really ultimately, as an artist, when you're doing it, it's really expressing the universal in our humanity.
Exactly.
And that's the key. You're trying to see yourself perhaps in spaces you haven't seen yourself.
Yeah.
But when you do that, other people start to see themselves in a way that they may not have seen otherwise.
Yeah. I have a very small art collection, and I think most of the work is by friends of mine. And that's really great because they're all amazing, talented artists. But I think growing up in a house with a more extensive art collection, it definitely made me interested and curious about, you know, building out, you know, my collection and what that would look like.
It's hard for me. I do collect a little for myself, but it's hard when you have someone who collects so much and goes out and gets.
Just say too much.
Well, it is borderline hoarding in some regard. It can be because it's not just artwork; it's everything. And so.
What's everything?
And so.
What's everything?
Well, just memorabilia. That's
art.
Everything. It's just anything. I mean, you like to hold on to pieces of paper. I mean, it's a lot. And so.
Those are autographs.
And so for me, it becomes more about curating and really trying to make sure that the art that we can see it and appreciate it.
And not buried?
Exactly.
But there's a lot of stuff. That's the other thing, like you're saying, there is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of work everywhere.
Yeah, you have to be thoughtful about it because otherwise it can be too much and you can't even really fully appreciate. So really thinking about how you live with it so that you can really enjoy it. And to me, I think at the end of the day, in terms of collecting, again, for me, it's about what do I really like? What feels good to me to see and to experience in my environment on a regular basis.
I'm very excited about ArtBall and being included and being there just for a great evening and to, be able to honor Kehinde Wiley, and you guys are co-hosting.
I mean, look, I'm really proud of Kehinde. I mean, we've known Kehinde a really long time.
That's why I asked him to do
I'm really happy to be able to co-chair ArtBall with him being honored along with Carmelo.
Where's Carmelo from?
Brooklyn.
Okay. Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Right.
Brooklyn in the house.
Okay. And it again, like it's all meaningful, right? And then you have a piece that's being auctioned, and again, it's just for such a really great cause. There's nothing like mixing art and friends and Brooklyn and
just good people.
To do good. Yeah.
Good people together do good.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
And then seeing our daughter kind of launching out of that is beautiful.
I mean, there's a long history of artists impacting social issues. The great Harry Belafonte, who we just lost, teamed up with Sidney Poitier and went to Paul Newman and Marlon Brando and many, many other white Hollywood stars who donated money to SCLC for Dr. King. So, since I've been alive, I've noticed that you have artists who just don't think about themselves and want what's best for the world. There's a connection, I think, that's historical. So this is not something new where like-minded people from arts get together with social activists and try to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I think this is the first time an artwork of mine is being auctioned.
First of many.
So exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really grateful to my friend Sierra Britton, of the Sierra Britton Gallery, who has been a champion of my work, and I'm very happy to be able to at least contribute a little bit in this way.
For me, as your mother, as someone who advocates for better health outcomes for women and children here in the United States in general, and I know that health is the foundation for everything, and for your work to be auctioned off for a cause that helps the outcomes of others in need of better health is just meaningful to me. And, an organization that really is focused on the health and wellness of Black and brown people in the world because we need it. So I'm just really proud.
Yeah.
I'm really proud.
It's nice, when everything feels like it aligns. It's like all the things you're like, right, all of this makes sense, and we're on the right track. Yeah.
The work is recognized for what it is, and the work speaks in a way to the ethos of what ArtBall is trying to accomplish. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So the auction opens from April 22nd to May 6th. This is a really good opportunity to get familiar with a lot of amazing up-and-coming artists. So make sure you check it out.